Hello. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmaswarupine avatar varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Mahormu Namastri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suri Satchitsukasvarupaya Swamini Tapahari वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So we are in the third chapter towards the last portion. So last we saw how one's own dharma is far better than even to die for one dharma is far superior to follow another dharma. So we saw very detailed ये क्या है स्वधर्म क्या है परधर्म क्या है. So Swadharma is also explained in so many various ways. Is our tendencies, our natural drift, our capacity, our likes, where our real tendencies lead us. Swadharma has undergone quite a lot of changes in interpretation. No, previously it was thought of as the caste in which you are born, because earlier the castes were also largely determined as per one's tendencies and all this. It means a big question. The caste thing, if you discuss, it's a very huge. Anyway, but then all those things have lost their meaning. Now, who is a Brahmana, who is a Shudra, no one knows. Everybody is Shudra only nowadays. There is no Brahmana actually. So, because the real meaning of a Brahmana is Brahma Janati Brahmana. One who is knower of Brahman is Brahmana. Where is a Brahmana? No, all are Shudras. So that the idea of Swadharma, now how do you interpret? Because if you say I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ इसके अनुसार भगवान करें तुम स्वधर्म लेके चलो परधर्म में मत जाना उसकी आप उससे अब मरने भी अच्छा है परधर्म से स्वधर्म आप उसी पकड़ के आपका मृत्यु भी प्राप्त होता अच्छा है. And what is the Swadharma? That idea would come. So naturally, what is our natural drift, our tendency, which will also help you lead a life based on dharma. See, स्वधर्मी के अंदर की धर्म शब्द तो उसमें अंदर है ना. So your dharma means the paths of your life which help you lead a life based on dharma. That is your swadharma. मेरा ऐसे में धर्म पद छोड़ के दूसरी तरह मैं पैसा कमा लूँ कुछ कर लूँ कुछ, दैट इज नॉट योर स्वधर्मा. So Swadharma is choose a path of life which will help you lead a life based on dharma. आपका तो काम भी करना है जिंदा भी रहना है कुछ भी तो करना भी है फैमिली है सपोर्ट करना कुछ कर्तव्य रहता है आपकी कोई जिम्मेवारी हो सकता है. देयर आर थिंग्स लाइक योर ओन रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज एंड सो ऑन. हाउ डू यू कंबाइन ऑल दैट? वेयर डू यू प्लेस द आइडिया ऑफ स्वधर्मा इन दैट? That it means that with all that, where you'll be able to live a life of dignity based on dharma. That's what it is. Okay, आप पसंद नहीं है जबरदस्ती आपका दूसरा करना पड़ता है. That is not your स्वधर्मा. You'll be very unhappy. You'll be lost peace of mind. मैं पहले भी बोला रखा है एक हम लोग का आश्रम में एक यंग युवक लोग योगदान किया था साधु बनने के लिए. His father was a very famous doctor. बहुत वो साधु लोग का वो ट्रीटमेंट किया था. He was very well known. His father was very famous doctor in Calcutta. तो जबरदस्ती लड़का को तो डॉक्टर बनाया. He was a very bright student. बिल्कुल इच्छा नहीं था तो डॉक्टर बन गया. डॉक्टर बन के वो साधु भी बन गया. 4-5 साल हो गया उसका मन में, क्योंकि वो अपना धर्म की विरुद्ध जो किया अपना स्वभाव की विरुद्ध कुछ काम किया इसलिए उसका मन में शांति नहीं मिला. सो ही वाज ऑलवेज इन डाउट ये क्या है, क्योंकि उसका इंजीनियर बनना इच्छा था. ही वांटेड टू बिकम एन इंजीनियर बट बिकॉज ऑफ हिज फादर्स इंसिस्टेंस ही बिकेम अ डॉक्टर. ही इज अ वेरी ब्राइट स्टूडेंट. एग्जाम ही गेव ही क्लियर्ड ही बिकेम अ डॉक्टर बट मन में बहुत शांति. देन ही अगेन लेफ्ट द मोनास्ट्री, took an entrance exam, qualified. He became a big computer engineer. He's doing well. So, Swadharma is something, which according to your own prediction, your preferences, your state of mind, your uh, whatever you like to do, where you find happiness, fulfillment, and lead a path of dharma. Lead a life based on dharma. That's important. So, अगर मैं मेरा ऐसे मेरा डाकू बनना अच्छा लगता है, that cannot be स्वधर्मा. मेरा दूसरी की पैसा लूटना मेरा अच्छा लगता है, that is you can't consider it as स्वधर्मा. Because there is no dharma in it. Swa hai, dharam nahi. So selfishness hai, but it's not dharam. So that is important. Whatever you do, based on dharma, but according to your tendencies, your preferences, your nature, वो उसमें आप जीवन में शांति अरे आनंद प्राप्त कर सकते. Then actually, it comes. क्योंकि अभी अगले श्लोक में अर्जुन जो पूछ रहा है बहुत ही बड़ी अच्छी चीज है. बिकॉज सडनली हाउ इज टेकिंग द कॉन्वर्सेशन, ही सेज अर्जुन उवाच अतकेन प्रयुक्तोऽहं पापं चरति पुरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः. और कृष्ण कुल से कृष्ण ने आया था, इसलिए वार्ष्णेय उसके नाम है, इसलिए क्लैन ऑफ वृष्णि. सो ही सेज Atakena prayo. How it is by prompted by what man takes to sinful ways of life. By what is a man prompted to live a sinful life? अनिच्छन्नपि वार्ष्णेय बलादिव जबरदस्ती नहीं चाहता हूं फिर भी उसका खींच के ले जाता है. Does not want, still he is being forced to lead a life of sinful existence. Why is it? A very, very important question. You see, then, it all follows as a sequence. See, the moment you give up your dharma, take to another dharma, then only all these sinful tendencies, desires, etc. creep into your mind. Why? Because when the mind is disturbed, मन में एक चंचलता है, then ही इधर उधर बहुत गलत जगह पे ढूंढना शुरू कर देता है. When the mind is not peaceful, not engaged in a way which is in tune with its own tendencies and all that, the mind becomes disturbed. It goes here and there in 1,000 directions and indulges slowly. This is how the mind is being led to sinful ways and all that. So he is asking, you see, every child, even a child of say 5 or 6 years onwards, they all know what is right and what is wrong. Each one of us know. हम सब जानते हैं. ऐसा क्यों होता है? मेरा मन चाहता है कि मैं दूसरे काम करके बैठते हैं. ये अच्छा नहीं है, ये बुरा है, ये गलत है. It's not moral, it is not good, but still we end up doing it. Arjuna is asking a very, very, very proper question. See, Arjuna also was trying to go away from his Swadharma. As a Kshatriya, his duty was to fight, his duty was to get back the kingdom which had been wrongfully taken away from him by the Kauravas. But then instead of fighting, he said that नहीं मैं सन्यासी बन जाऊंगा, मैं भिक्षाचरी करूंगा, बैठ बैठ के भिक्षा लेके खाना भी अच्छा है. It's not good to fight. All that he was trying to say. But Sri Krishna was trying to slowly bring him round. No, don't get into something which is not your real nature. You will end up miserably. It's not good. So now slowly, his mind is, आपका प्रश्न पूछने का, जानकारी का, वो भी एक तरीका होता है ना. Only when you are in the right frame of mind, if you are totally confused, जितना भी आपका उपदेश मिलेगा कुछ नहीं होगा काम. When you are totally confused, nothing will work. First of all, you want to take good advice to live properly, you need a little. हाँ, there may be disturbance, other problem. At least कम से कम सुनने का तो मन होना चाहिए ना. अरे क्या बोलते हैं, फालतू चले जाते हैं. और सुनते भी कान में घुसता ही नहीं है. Simply they come and sit like a tree and trunk and go away. So you need that little mental makeup. That means he is willing to listen to Sri Krishna. He is taking to him very seriously. So that's why already he says Shishyastea Usadhimam Tam Prapannam. Mera jo acha hai, please tell me what is good for me. I am unable to decide. I am unable to do for myself. So he is really in a mood to listen, to learn, and to adapt and live that way. So Sri Krishna is also ready to teach him. So he is coming with a real question. Why is it that in spite of all one's effort, knowing what is good and what is bad, Still, why are we forced to go the wrong path? मान लीजिए सबसे बड़े even the worst dacoit or murderer or anybody, you ask him, did you do correctly? No, I did it wrong. All of them will confess. Go and ask interview in the jail. Everybody will say, no, in galat kiya. Everybody knows. So the point is, even when you know that, even when you clearly know what is right, what makes you do that which is not right? Why is it that you are doing it? You know, your inner mind, your voice says, no, this is the proper thing. ये अनैतिक है, it's immoral है, moral नहीं है, पाप है. But still, the majority of the mankind, मान लीजिए 99.99%, they indulge. Why? So that is a real question he's asking. So Sri Krishna gives an answer. We'll examine it. He says, काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुण समुद्भव महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनम यह वैरिणम. So this lust or desire, kama, all are combined in this one word. The first kama, lust is only one form of desire. Everything, desire to eat, desire to do, desire for name, and all kinds of desires are combined in this one word called kama. But its worst form of manifestation is lust. Kama for carnal desires or physical desires, the worst form of desire. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhava. Kama and krodha, which arise, they are born out of rajoguna. Mahashano mahapap. Is insatiable. सब कुछ खा लेता है. अब देखेंगे, this desire is like they say, desire is never satisfied by participating और फुलफिलिंग. क्यों? फुलफिल कभी नहीं होता है. उसके थी अगले 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 मोर 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 मोर. इनसैशिएबल हंगर. महाशना. Shana is hunger. It's so such a huge all devouring desire, all devouring hunger. सारा का सारा खा लेता है, इतना उसका खुदा है. महाशनो महापापमान, great sin. This is the Vidyanam Ihavarinam. Know this to be the enemy of man's spiritual life. Sadharanto, most of the people live that way only. Eating and performing and dissatisfying their desires, running here and there, everything only for that. But really, they are, if you want to lead a spiritual life, a life based on viveka and vairagya, आप ऐसे कोई जीवन जीना चाहते हैं, if you want to live a life based on that kind of ideas, spiritual ideas, then they are great enemies. So, what is that? What is the basis? Rajo, even much lower, even is Tamo, but largely, to spring into action, you need Rajas. Otherwise, if you are Tamoguni, even वो करने की भी खाने की बहुत इच्छा है, लेकिन उठ के खाने का फुर्सत नहीं. That will be the condition of a Tamoguni. रजोगुनी है, डिजायर है, तुरंत मैं उसका फिलअप करूंगा, पूर्ण करूंगा. That kind of a prompted by desires, the ability to function, to fulfill, that is rajas. So these are all, this desire and anger, they are arising out of rajoguna. Remember, they are insatiable. Krishna is warning. No amount of satisfaction will quench your desire. जितना भी हो, देखते हैं ना, 10 लाख है, 1 करोड़ है, फिर 10 करोड़, फिर 100 करोड़ चाहिए, फिर 10 मंजिल चाहिए, फिर 50 गाड़ी चाहिए, फिर it keeps on increasing like a devil, like a rakshasa, completely eat you up totally. So it is insatiable desire and anger. Why is krodha? That's why in second chapter he has already said, ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसा संगस्तेषु उपजायते संघा संजायते काम कामात् क्रोधो विजायते. So when you think of anything that is an object, which is the object of the indriyas, vishaya, anything that is, 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 anything worthy of being acquired, enjoyed, and all that. Moment you think of that, then you develop an attachment. How do you want something? Of course, again they are based by your past samskara, the karma, the tendencies which are already in the mind. They come up somehow. They get attached. Suppose you get something. This is the rasagulla. I must eat it. I must eat it. And then when you are not able to fulfill it, the desires when they are at their height, if they are prevented, that results in anger. The ignorance of a real spiritual nature, when it is expressed, it is called desire. And the desire, when it is taken to its height, where again and again you are thwarted or prevented from getting it, that gets transferred into anger. That is why you see, in all cases, whenever there is a resistance, they become like animals, they kill, they do everything. Why? Because the desire is not allowed to be fulfilled. So raga arises out of the Vesha, Krodha arises out of this kama or desire. Not fulfilled desire gives rise to Krodha or terrible anger. So naturally they are great sins. Then he says, how is it? How does it? Because we are said to be of the nature of supreme consciousness. हम लोग को सच्चित आनंद स्वरूप से बहुत बहुत कहते हैं. How is it that then we also have this so much of raga and dvesha and kama and krodha? What is all that? Then he gives a beautiful example. He says, "Dhumena vrete vannihi yatadasho malena cha यतोल्बेनावृतो गर्भस्तथा तेने idam tata tena idam avritam." How is this being covered? Avrita is covering. So it says, just as a fire is enveloped by smoke. So he says in graded ways how this covering happens. Fire is covered by smoke. Yata adasho malailecha. How a mirror is covered by dirt. Mala is dirt. And yatha ulbena avrito garbha. How the fetus is covered by the womb. Tata tena idam avritam. So, idam avritam. So, the knowledge is covered by lust. So, that is, of course, the only by that, only is say, or it's not exactly idam, he is not saying, but it's an interpretation. Just as this desire, karma, covers the knowledge or the real nature of a human being. So again, he is giving gradations here. What is when smoke covered, which covers the fire, there is smoke, but see the fire is not visible at all. Fire is still there. If the smoke is not there, it will burn even more blazingly. It will be more powerful. Can get the full heat. So the fire. So there is a kind of, you can say, it's a sattvic type of coverage, where the fire is kind of covered with smoke, but it's easy to get rid of. Even if you blow, the smoke will go away. So the covering is there, but it's not extremely thick and it's not visible at all. Not that way. The fire is clearly seen. The fire and Duma and Vanni you always see together. So the smoke is there. So when you put up a chimney, the smoke will go away, fire will burn brightly. Or even if you blow it with your own mouth, the smoke will go away. फिर भी आपका तो आग दिखा जाएगा. So the covering is there, but it is not absolutely powerful and totally obstructing the fire. It is there, but it can also be. So it is a kind of sattvic type of coverage you can see. And then what is the next example? It says Adarsho Malayaji, just as the mirror that is covered by dirt. Even if there is tufan also, the dirt will not go. You have to put your own effort, clean it with your hands, then only you can see the mirror. So if the dirt is covering the mirror, it will not even reflect. It's a much thicker and more powerful cover than smoke which is covering the fire. Smoke goes, sometimes the smoke goes away by itself. Supposing it's an open space, if you light a fire after some time, the smoke will go away even by itself. But the dirt on a mirror, if it is completely covering the mirror, it will reflect nothing. And a specific effort has to be made to clean the mirror. Then only it will have its power of reflecting. So this is, you can say as a Rajasic type or a more thicker type of a cover. And then he goes to even more difficult coverage. Yatha ulbena avrito garbha. Just as the embryo or fetus is covered by womb, it's such a coverage, nothing is seen. And you cannot remove it also. Just you cannot remove it by hand, you cannot remove it anything. Only at the right time only the covering will go away. So the covering is even more powerful. What is there inside, nobody knows. You cannot see. Normally it's not possible to see at all. So it is even more difficult and more thicker covering. Probably the most tamasic type of covering you can say. Just as in the desires also, there are um, totally tamasic desires like carnal pleasures, enjoying food, drink, and other kinds of bhoga, the worst kind of tamasic desires. Rajas desires intense activity to make money, to become famous, name and fame, and all those things. And maybe sattvic desires like doing more sadhana, trying to become evolved and all that. So there are so many kinds of desires. Similarly, the covering also is up to totally sattvic covering and then a rajasic covering and completely a tamasic covering also can happen. Just as the embryo which is completely covered by the womb where nothing is visible, only in time by nature the covering has to go, then only it is possible. So this is similarly our knowledge, the ever shining, the nature of Atman, which is Satchit Ananda Swarup, full of consciousness, full of knowledge. So it has also got all various kinds of covering, according to which it is completely clouded, partly clouded, and very thick, very feebly or very thinly clouded and covered also. There are so many ways of doing it. So then he says, आवृतं ज्ञानमेतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पुरेणानेन च. Knowledge is covered up by the eternal force. No, because last sloka he said, Tata tenam tata tena idam avritam. Same way this is covered. What this is Tat and Idam. Now he is explaining in this sloka. The next sloka he is explaining what he had only shown as Tena Idam Avritam. What is that? Now he is explaining this next sloka. Here it says Avritam Jnanametir. So Idam is knowledge that is covered up by this eternal foe. Huh? Nitya Vairina. Nitya Jnanino Nitya Vairina. This form is a foe of the aspirant of the knowledge. Because no, all of us want to realize our true nature. All of us want ultimately that is the whole of human life, the goal of human personality, our destiny, etc. So there is that inwardly the desire for acquiring knowledge, etc. is there in everybody. But that Nitya Vairina is the eternal foe. Because again and again and again it happens. It's not that some desire came, you got rid of it, you're going fast. No, again it will come. Again it will come. One after another come. If one desire is there, another desire will arise. Then the third, then fourth. So this, it goes on and on and on and on. That's why he says, he calls it as Nitya Vairina, like the eternal foe of knowledge. Jnanino means the person who is a seeker after knowledge, an aspirant. His permanent or the eternal foe of the aspirant of the knowledge is what is that? Kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha. This Kaunteya is calling the son of Kunti, the insatiable fire of lust. Dushpurena. Dushpurena means, that is difficult to appease. Puran karna mushkil hai. Dushpuran. Dushpurena. It is difficult to appease or fulfill. And then uh, Kama Rupena, this is the nature of desire or nature of lust. Then Etena Alanena, by this fire, knowledge is covered. This fire of desire, fire of lust, it is insatiable, it is extremely difficult to control. That covers knowledge. Just as no, we said how the smoke is covering the fire, just as dirt is covering the mirror, just as the womb is covering the embryo. The same way, knowledge is covered by this terrible eternal enemy of the aspirant of knowledge, what is called uh, desire or karma or lust. And then, he says, obviously, the question is how this can be controlled. Also wants to know the result because he said, Atakena prayuktoham papam charati purusha. Why this is happening? That means he's seeking a solution also. He's not simply saying, oh, let me know how it happened, then I'll keep on doing. No, he's not asking that. He's a sincere aspirant. He wants to know how it is happening, and hidden in that is the question, what is the way out? What is the solution? So, Sri Krishna says, yes, now you know that this is what is happening. How it is happening, I have told you the basic idea. The terrible desire in the form of lust, in the form of other things, that only prompts one to indulge in such actions. And how it is happening, because I know what is good. I know what is, that's what Duryodhana said, no? Janami dharmam najame pravrittihi, janami adharmam najame nivrittihi. I know what is dharma, but I don't have the capacity to do it or perform it. I know what is adharma, and I don't have the capacity to stay away from it. So that is the result, that is the state of majority or vast majority of mankind. So everyone knows why it is happening that way. First he said, it is a terrible desire that is happening, that is making you do all that. But then, we have that. We are supposed to be that Satchit Ananda Swarup. You are the eternal, ever blissful consciousness, shining forth, glorious, divine in nature. Then how is it that is doing all that? If you are divine, if you are extraordinary, how do you all that? And he says, no, it's all this karma and krodha, how they cover. And what is the type of covering? He explained. So this is what happened. They have all that. This is how they prevent you from exercising your great inner powers, your intellect, etc. That is how you get caught like that. And then now, what is the solution? To know the solution, one should understand the basic, the design, how all these are happening, how all these things are happening, what are the various stages, who are the masters at various places. Because so some I saw in one that book of Chinmyanji, just as a great dacoit with his team has several places to operate, maybe one headquarters, some branches, like that. He says all these our the Indriyas etc. are like various stations for operation from where they keep on operating. So then Sri Krishna gives the order, how they operate. What is the first point of entry? What is the next point of entry? What is the last point of entry? How it can be controlled there? Because at every point you can control. The best control will be supposing you have a very wonderful house with several places for protection. So if you drive away the thief from the first place itself, the damage is minimum. Then if you allow him to make one breakthrough at the second stage, then more damage. Third stage, still more damage. So you have to be careful how to control or where. Then it becomes uncontrollable. Then he breaks open and takes away everything, and everything is gone. So whether it can stop him in the first stage, or that you should know what are the various security systems. You put alarm and this and that, everything. What are the various systems you have designed? How the thieves can be stopped in various places. The thieves of kama and krodha, desire and anger, how they can be arrested at various places. That is going to tell. He says, Indriyani manobuddhihi asyadhishthana muchyate. See, the senses are for this desire, the terrible enemy, the permanent enemy of man seeking knowledge, the desire. Here also is not saying directly that is only its place. Asya adhishthana muchyate. Asya adhishthana. That is the foundational basis. What is that? Indriyani manobuddhihi. The senses, the mind, and the intellect. These are said to be its seat or adhishthana, from where only also these are the three stages where it gets entry into the human psyche or personality. Then Eiti mohatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. So with this it veils the knowledge. Eite vimohatyeva. By this, vimohatyeva, this is, they delude these things, they delude the uh, self or the knowledge, veils and deludes the Jnanamavritya Dehinam. Because we are, first of all, the first difficulties is body itself. The spirit has got into the body first, embodied spirit. That is the first point of thing. So, because in embodied spirit, all these things operate and they delude. Dehinam. So, if you understand that you are not the Deha, but what is the real source, you are that Dehi, you are that Supreme, then none of this will operate. But the moment you consider yourself you are embodied, the moment we accept that we are the body and we are the mind, we are all this, then you accept all these conditionalities. Supposing you are you have some say problem. Say for example, I have diabetes. So there are 10 types of sweets are kept in front of. So now if I think that, oh, this is so nice sweet, this is jalebi, this is amriti, this is laddu, this is rasagulla, this is taste like that, that is it. And slowly I become victim. So at the entry itself, I simply say, no, I don't care. I have not come here to eat rasagulla or amriti or anything. My life's purpose is different. His body has to be maintained, it has to be given something. Just as a fire needs some wood or something needs to sustain, like that. So you need to put wood if you want the fire to burn, you have to put some wood or charcoal or something that will burn. Similarly, this body needs to be maintained. I have to give it some food so that I can call on God, I can realize the true purpose of life. If you have such an idea, then he said, no. Will you then, suppose this wonderful fire is burning, will you put water to increase the fire? Water will immediately quench it or spoil the fire. So you will put only that material which will really help the fire glow. So I also know that, no, this is not really good for me. If I put this sweets into this body, it will get more spoiled. It will lose its focus, it will lose its perspective, it will lose its real purpose, it will get directed, distracted, digressed. So I will be carried. Even at the entrance, I completely stop it. Why? Because I am not identifying myself with this body. But if you think, no, this body is to be nourished, I have to have rasagulla, I must have amriti, I must have nice food, I must have this, and that, then the problem starts. That's the first entry you are giving. Because you are forgetting that you are that supreme spirit. The purpose of your life is something totally different. It is not this enjoyment. Just to maintain the body, you have to eat. You don't have to live to eat. You have to eat to live. Once you understand that, then life becomes different. At the entry point itself, you are blocking it. But supposing you give an entry, you accept you are the body, then these are the three things where they sit at the level of indriyas, at the level of the money, and at the level of intellect. These are the three places from which they operate. Just as a dacoit king, you have one headquarters and branches, like there are just three places from which to operate. First, it conquers the first fortress, namely Indriya. They bring so many information from so many places. Oh, this is good. This place they sell the best of rasagullas. This place they sell the best place of kebab. Somewhere else. Like that, no, all the Indriyas keep on identifying. The senses, they gather the information of sense objects. कहाँ ये मिलता है what is that? The very special sweet yesterday also I saw. Something is available here, something like that, Gerwana, whatever it is. And you keep on searching for all that. And then, the next stage is supposing you arrest it there, then it goes to then the mind. It again it brings up all from its memory, it keeps on. What is all that? Again, more is there. You can search for more things are available. Go. If not this, you order online, you order in Amazon, you order somewhere else, or in Blinkit or Kikit or whatever it is, and you keep on getting. And then even then buddhi tries to again give that input to the mind. Arey, don't worry, it's all necessary. The body, it gives you wrong information, and finally you become a victim. So it says this terrible enemy of knowledge seekers called lust and anger, kama and krodha, desire and anger, they operate from three spots. At the level of the indriyas, at the level of the mind, at the level of the buddhi. There are three places. And then you become a victim. So it says, Indriyani manobuddhi asyadishthana muchyate ete mohatyeva jnanamavrityate. So, they delude the dehinam, the embodied soul, which has got trapped in this body. That itself is, the first and the foremost delusion is that. See, already, that we say, supposing there is a monkey that has been smitten by a scorpion, and उसकी भी आप शराब भी पिलाओ, उसके क्या हाल होगा? तो already it is चटपटा है, तो because it has been stung by a scorpion, then to add to that you give you wine also, then it will dance, it will become mad. So like that, first and foremost, the first delusion is you're caught deluded by the idea that you are the body. Is it not? How many of us really think we are that immortal soul, we are that Atman, we are that Brahman, we are not subject to any limitation. Body is just is incidental, we don't care. Then no illness, no disease, nothing can dampen your spirit. You can give even the worst of it, maybe even cancer. I say, yes, doctors जो करना कर रहे हैं, but I am not the body, I am that spirit. Everyone has to go. मे बी मैं कल ही चले जाऊंगा, कोई 10,000 बाद है, क्या फर्क है, वो भी जा रहा है, मैं भी जा रहा हूँ. बट जब तक मैं हूँ, if I always live with the idea I am not the body, I am the consciousness, you live a beautiful life. अदरवाइज आपका सब कुछ है, लेकिन हमेशा आपका यहाँ से वहां से हर जगह में कब हो जाए, कब हो जाए, कब हो जाए. You don't have, but that thought kills you. When I will get illness, what will happen? If I eat, if I go here, this will happen. If I don't go, this will happen. If I eat this, not eat. So that ideas will kill you anyway. But you think, yeah, अच्छा, doctors बोला cancer, ठीक है, मैं समझ लिया. Then that means my end is coming. I am prepared. From today onwards, I'll be only happy because I know I'm going to go. I don't care. Let the doctor do his duty, but I'll always be happy. Do you ever do like that? Then more doubt, more chinta, more anxiety, more worry. If you have to die in 8 months, you die in 8 days because of anxiety and that fear and that tension and tanav and everything. But also the first thing is accepting that I am the body, accepting the first bondage. I am caught in this cage of flesh and bone and all that. I am only that. I am nothing beyond that. If you see all our fight, our difficulties, our problem, everything arises from that single idea that I am this body, I am this limited personality, I am this mind, I am nothing beyond. So, already you are trapped, just like a monkey which has already been stung by a scorpion. Added to that, the Indriyas go and bring lot of tempting things. Some rasagulla, some this thing, some cinema, something car, some this desire, this boga, that we keeps on bringing lot of that. वो किसी तरह रोक नहीं था, मन उसका मदद देता, अरे करो करो करो, डोंट वरी, एंजॉय, लाइफ इज टू बी एंजॉयड. And when I go to big hotels or to foreign countries and all, I get so upset, feel like coming away, slapping. They will serve something, enjoy. In airplane also they will serve something, enjoy. What is that to enjoy? Some useless stuff which is 3 days stale, old. They are eating and giving. Enjoy. What is that to enjoy? I mean, we are so much conditioned to the idea of body. Enjoy. Why did that very word is so obnoxious? It kills you when you hear that. Say, have your food. That's enough. Enjoy. They will say so much of expression of that body mindedness and desire fulfilled. That person is full of desire. So he is looking upon life as only meant for physical enjoyment. to be in the realm of the body and its attendant desires and fulfillment. So the person thinking, oh, enjoy, enjoy. You say, then yes, all right. I've served, please have it. भगवान का निवेदन कर लीजिए, आप खाना खा लीजिए. See how beautiful it is, no? Somebody asked, incidentally, I saw today, very beautiful idea. Somebody was, one young child asked his mother, so, you offering so many things to God, but God does not eat. So it is for us, for our sake, we are offering so that we can eat. Is that the idea? Then nobody could answer. Then they asked, it was a very great soul. He was called Mahapariva, great senior Acharya, Kanchi Kamakoti Acharya. He was called Kamakoti Sankaracharya, used to call him. So he said, he gave a printed book and a sloka. Now you read the sloka and get it by heart. So the person took it and can you repeat the sloka? He read it beautifully. So is that sloka removed from that book? No, no, no. How can it be? It's always there. I only by hearted it. Wow, the knowledge never goes, it's always there. And Parivar said, you see, Prasada, Naivedya is also like that. When you offer it, the aroma, the intent, the subtle aspect of it goes to God. God takes it. But it does not reduce the physical quantity. What is left behind is that sanctified by God's touch, and that you take as prasad. So, like that, everything in this world, if you look at the objects, but everywhere what you say is, what do the indriyas bring you? No, no, you came. You satisfy your body, satisfy your desires, satisfy your mind. That's why it's all there. Do we ever eat any food with that idea? It is so sacred. It is offered to God. It's to purify my body, to purify my mind. For this purpose I'm eating. How many of us really think like that when we eat? Supposing yourself something. It's God's given. Anyway, it is given by God. It's given by Prakriti. It's by nature. That's how food is produced. That is, so many items are produced. But when you consume it, do you ever think that, oh, it is God's creation? Nature has produced it. Prakriti has produced it. I'm taking it to pushti, to give pushti or to nourishment to this instrument, which is again a creation of God, which is meant to realize His true nature. Do you ever eat it? And you will never get any disease if you eat like that. So, then the mind also brings so many allurements. What is not physically possible, the mind has far more capacity. The indriyas have limited capacity, they bring that. The mind can imagine thousand other enjoyments, even in a very weird and colored way it can enjoy. Eating by the left hand or eating by this, doing this. You can, punch two, three things and eat. So many things are possible by the mind, which is not possible physically. The mind brings all these enjoyments. And further, the buddhi even rakes up from memory so many other things, keeps on giving it. So that is why you say, Atyadhisthana muchyate. Indriyani manobuddhi asya adhisthana muchyate. This is adhisthana, the seat for all this. Ete nimohatyesha jnanamavrityate. This embodied soul is deluded by this, and that is why they keep on suffering like this. So we will finish it next week, or in the next class. Next week, next Sunday, after this thing, we finish chapter 3. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Shri Ram Krishna. Oh, please, all of you come for Janmashtami, that is on the 16th. Nice celebrations, puja, bhajans, everything.